continuing with the virtual tour of the Vatican Museums, and in this moment we are in the heart of the Vatican Museums. This is called the octagonal courtyard, octagonal because of the 8 sides, and it is considered the heart of the Vatican Museums. Why the heart? Because this courtyard was created in 1506. You can imagine, more than 500 years ago. It was a garden with orange trees, and the first ancient Roman statues that you can see all around, sarcophagi, for instance, and so on, excavated in the city and outside the city, they were displayed here in this garden. From this garden, the Vatican collection spread out. Today there are miles of exhibition galleries. Everything started from here in 1506. For instance, this is a sarcophagus. A sarcophagus means a coffin. This is a casket that is beautifully carved by hand. You see the lion's head killing those animals. And one of the masterpieces of the Vatican collection is that statue over there. You can follow me. Yeah.
Andiamo.
It is impossible to see this statue empty because this is Lauco Onte. It's like the Mona Lisa in Louvre. There is always a line. Today, of course, there is not so much line because we are in COVID time, so this is empty. In any case, that statue, Lauco Onte, is a beautiful masterpiece of ancient Rome. Who was Leaucun or Lauco Onte in Italian? He was a pagan priest in Troy during the Trojan War, and he predicted the Trojan people that the wooden horse was dangerous. Nobody listened to him, and so Athena, the goddess that protected Ulysses, she sent a snake from the sea to kill Laocoonte and his 2 children. So what you see here is the fight, the struggle of a man against the snake to save himself and his 2 children. They're going to die now. Look at the way this fight is displayed. Can you see the wrinkles on the face? Look at the muscles of the body. I like to show you that detail of the blood passing in the vein of his left shoulder. You see the left shoulder? You can feel the blood. Well, now we can go a little bit ahead. And from here you can see the details. You see, this is absolutely beautiful. Consider that this was carved 1900 years ago. Some people say it was originally located in the Domus Aurea, in the golden house of Emperor Nero. Other people say no, this was in the bathhouse of Emperor Titus. In any case, it was excavated in 1506 on January the 10th, and so the Vatican Museums started 500 years ago in 1506 with this statue. And so we are continuing with the Vatican Museums. In this moment we are in the round hall, because it's round. You see, this was built at the end of the 18th century. This is a beautiful room with an ancient mosaic on the floor. Pay attention to the floor. This is a mosaic made by tiles. Nothing is painted here. And this was found in an ancient bathhouse outside the city in Umbria, in a region in the center of Italy. It was cut in 108 pieces, stripped off, and moved here. So we are walking on the art of eternity. Pay attention to your feet, under your feet. You see under my feet in this moment. So we are walking on a marble carpet, and this is 1700 years old. Many statues, and in the middle, this beautiful round basin. This is made by porphyry. Porphyry is a stone that does not exist anymore from Egypt, and it is the second hardest stone to carve after the diamond. Okay? And this round basin was filled with water, and originally, 1900 years ago, it was displayed in the Domus Aurea, in the golden house of Emperor Nero. Emperor Nero, he was nuts, he was crazy, but he had a very good taste in reality. He was an artist, he was not understood, and he committed suicide at the age of 32. In any case, in the golden house, in the Domus Aurea, there was this beautiful basin filled with water. It's one piece of marble. And we are continuing with the Vatican Museums. So far we walked uphill. From this moment we start walking downhill. You see, this is the beginning of a very long gallery. It's about 1,000 feet long, divided into different art collections. This gallery, follow me, so is called the first section, the gallery of the candlesticks, because on the left and on the right side of each arch, you can see those ancient candle holders. They were filled with oil in ancient times, for the illumination of the houses or of the gardens. Many statues. For instance, I like to point out these statues on the left side. They're all statues of the god of the wine, called Dionysius or Bacchus. Look at the eyes, these are quite famous. You see baby Bacchus on the shoulders of that satyr, and the eyes are made by glass paste, so they look like real people. In reality, those eyes are a mistake made 3 centuries ago, because they thought this is a mistake, that the eyes were made by glass paste. In reality, no, they were painted. Then look at the ceiling. This was painted in 1888. And you see the 2 women up there. Those 2 women, they symbolize arts, and they're making a drawing, a sketch of the 2 symbols of Rome. The Colosseum on the left corner and St. Peter's Dome on the right corner. And this is the gallery of the tapestries, because on your left side, on your right side, you can see these beautiful tapestries. The masterpieces are located just in front of us. Those tapestries, they were designed by assistants of Raphael, and they were made in Brussels, in Belgium, by the school of Van Elst with the Gobelin technique, so with the cross-stitch technique. Consider that these tapestries are very thick, and they are made by using a huge loom with silk threads, wool threads, silver threads, and gold threads. They are events from Jesus' life. For instance, the first one on the left side is the birth of a baby Jesus. The second one here in front of us, these are the 3 wise men handing over the gifts to baby Jesus. And look at the details. They look like paintings. In reality, they are woven by using silk threads, woolen threads, and so on. They're absolutely a masterpiece. 1524, when they were woven in Brussels. We are continuing with the Vatican Museums. So in this moment we are in one of the most magnificent galleries of the Vatican Museums, the gallery of the geographical maps. This is the longest gallery of Europe, almost 400 feet long. And on the left side, on the right side, you can see 42 geographical maps of Italy from the south to the north. So now we are walking to the north of Italy. All the regions on the east coast are painted on the right side. All the regions are on the west coast are painted on the left side. Remember, this was painted in 1584 by Ignazio Danti, an expert of geography. And not only these beautiful geographical maps are so famous, but even the ceiling. Pay attention to the ceiling. 128 miracles of the Catholic Church related to the regions on your left and on your right side. Another detail that I like to point out for you is the view of the Vatican Gardens. The Vatican Gardens are absolutely beautiful, and a curiosity for you. You see Vatican Radio up there? On the left side of the Vatican Radio there is a small building with green shutters. You see? That's the residence of Pope Benedict XVI. You know, the retired Pope Benedict, the German Pope Ratzinger. He retired a few years ago, and he's living inside the building. If you have the chance, this is usually what I recommend my visitors coming here to the Vatican with me. If you have Netflix, try to watch The Two Popes, the movie, The Two Popes, before coming to Rome, because you can see this very nice story and friendship between Pope Francis and Pope Benedict. Okay, so that's where Pope Benedict is spending the last years of his life. And this is Siena. You can see over there Siena. Siena is a beautiful medieval city. Try to go to Siena, it's absolutely beautiful. I love Siena. And my colleague Stella, for Italy for Real, will talk about Siena in a very insightful way. So we are continuing with the Vatican Museums, with the tour. And now this is one of the most famous sections of the Vatican Museums, Raphael's rooms. You know, Raphael was one of the main artists of Rome, one of the main painters of Rome and of Italy 5 centuries ago. He died in 1520, and he was asked by Pope Julius II at the age of 25 to paint the private apartment of the Pope. So in this moment, you can give a look around. In this wonderful room, this is called the Constantine's room. And you should imagine that the daily life of the popes in the 16th century, at the beginning of the 16th century, took place in this apartment here. But what happened to Raphael? Raphael is very famous because of the beautiful Madonnas, the very sweet Madonnas, but Raphael died very young. He was only 37 years old when he died. He's buried in the Pantheon. And so this apartment was completed by his students, his assistants, like Giulio Romano. So for instance, this room was not painted by Raphael, but the drawings, the cartoons are by him. And here you can see, for instance, the baptism of Constantine, the first Christian emperor, Constantine, and over there, the same emperor, Constantine, that's the battle of Milvio Bridge. The bridge in the north of Rome that you can see on the right corner up there. So there was a famous battle against the co-emperor Maxentius, drowning in the Tiber River, you see over there. And Constantine was the winner in 312 AD. This is a very important battle because next year Constantine legalized Christian religion. So he gave freedom to the Christians and he made build the first Christian churches. Follow me this way, please. This was the dining room of the Pope for the events, for the parties or for special dinners. The second room here was the audience room of the Pope. Consider that the owner was Julius II, the same Pope that made paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, the same Pope that made build St. Peter's Church in 1506. Since we mentioned him several times, Pope Julius II is that one up there. Can you see that Pope with the white beard on the right side of the altar? He's up there praying in front of the altar because a miracle is taking place. There was a priest on the left side of the altar from Bohemia, from former Czechoslovakia. He did not believe so much in the transubstantiation. This is a difficult word. It means that he had doubts about the meaning of the Holy Host. And so during a mass in the north of Rome by a lake, drops of blood fell down from the host. It's quite difficult to see, but there are some red specks. And that's the miracle of Corpus Domini in Latin, or the body of Christ. So that's the Pope Julius II. And now we're moving to the next room, which is the most famous one, with the School of Athens. It is world famous. I remember I studied it at the high school, since it is extremely popular here. Follow me this way. And this was also painted entirely by Raphael. Consider that this was the private office of the Pope. This is where the Pope signed the documents, for instance, and it was also the private library of the Pope. So here there were different books down here. And this is the School of Athens, which is very famous. You see here the two main philosophers of ancient Greece are just in the middle, Plato, Platone, with the white beard, and his finger pointing up to heaven. Raphael met Leonardo da Vinci when he was young, and so that plate, that face is Leonardo da Vinci's face. The other philosopher is Aristotle. His tongue out the head because he lived in experience. Plato in the idolized God. That's why his fingers up to heaven. And here there is also a self-portrait of Raphael. If you pay attention to the right corner, you see there is the second guy with a black hat looking at us. You see the second guy with the black hat. That's Raphael. Okay? And here there is also Michelangelo's portrait. Pay attention to that man with the boots in the foreground down here. With the boots down here. That's Michelangelo's face. Because you should imagine, Raphael was painting this wall. Nearby, Michelangelo, not Michelangelo. It's the same in case Michelangelo was painting the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. So this is a homage by Raphael to Michelangelo. This symbolizes philosophy, justice up here, and theology on the other side. It's a theology of Jesus Christ up here in the middle, and all these saints, popes, fathers of the church, talking about the meaning of the Holy Host right up front. Remember, this is the most famous room, the most popular room, and it was the private office of This is the last video of our virtual tour of the Vatican Museums. We are at the exit of the Vatican Museums by a beautiful double staircase designed in 1932. And now it is completely empty, but usually it's quite crowded before the COVID time. In any case, this is a kind of Liberty style staircase designed by Joseph Momo, and it's an optical illusion. If you pay attention, these are two staircases that cross each other. One is this one where I am now, and the other one is over there. They cross each other, so until 1999, one was an exit and one was the entrance of the Vatican Museums. Today this is used only as an exit because a new entrance was built in 1992 by Pope John Paul II. That's the entrance that you can see over there through the arches. And so this is the end of our virtual tour. I hope that you enjoyed this introduction to the Vatican City. If you want to join me for a real tour of the Vatican Museums, you can contact Italy for Real at the information provided in the website. And thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next site. Ciao ciao, grazie mille, bye bye.